I've been upgrading my STI's interior more than I have ever planned, and it wasn't cheap. Now in this video, I'm going to break down every interior mod that I've done. Was it worth it? Was it not? And how much it all cost. Alright, Subie friends, let's say we go for a drive. What's up, Subie friends? Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that the audio is good and that you can hear me. Well, because I got the sunroof open and I got a mic on the exhaust. And you know what? It feels so good just being out driving this car. And seriously, I could just do this all day. Got the sun shining, got the sunroof open. And this is one of the main reasons why I wanted the limited edition that had to have the sunroof. Even though this wind is kind of gnarly right now. But hey, this will be a great test for these DJI microphones. Which, by the way, I really enjoy. So, if you have not already watched my last video about every exterior mod that we've done to this car, you should go check that out. This next video is every mod that we did on the interior, which makes this car so much fun to drive. Alright, Subie friends, what do you say we head back to the house and we go through all the mods that we did to the interior of this car. Alright, Subie friends, we're back at the house. So, the interior is probably one of my favorite parts because that's where all the time is spent in the car. You touch everything, you feel everything, you push some buttons, sit in traffic. It's just the best part. So, one of my favorite mods is actually one of the first few mods that we did to this car, even before the 4th brake light mod. This mod is the Subaru OEM Footwell lighting kit. And this thing is phenomenal. It is the most coolest and my favorite mod by far. You can only see it when you're driving at night because that's when it comes on, when the lights are turned on. It's OEM, so it comes with everything you need. Plug it up and plug it in. I just can't say enough about that. This is my #1 favorite mod. All right, now this is another mod that is just absolutely amazing, and that is the Stratos shift knob. So perfectly made and weighted, and the Alcantara on the sides just feels amazing. It's a cool black and silver stealthy kind of look to it, and I paired it with the racing reverse lockout column. And because we're right here, we got to talk about the Alcantara. This Alcantara is so much better than that cheap leather crap that Subaru put in this car. I can't tell you how much I hated it. So I went over to Subieflow's website and I ordered the Alcantara kit for the e-brake. So I ordered for the e-brake as well as the shift boot. Gee, what a difference. The stitching on this, it matches perfectly with the OEM stitching. And I tell you, once you start getting to the Alcantara feeling, you just want to change everything up. Probably going to get these done in Alcantara, but by a different company. And I want to do it as much as possible around the car done in Alcantara. It just feels so much better than the leather that they have in here. And it looks good too. So the previous guy who had this car, I'm pretty sure was a big dude, because this was pretty worn out. And you know what? Yeah, I had to get it replaced. So I hopped onto Subie Speed's website and I ordered the JDM Alcantara armrest, and man, it feels so good. It even came with the foam padding. Kind of was a pain in the butt to put on, but it was all worth it. When we were putting it on, I was a little bit worried when we did it, but I got some help from one of you guys and told me what to do. And you know what? It came out really, really good. Now this dongle here turns your CarPlay into wireless CarPlay, which is so convenient because you no longer have to plug in a cable for your Apple CarPlay. The only downside is that your Apple CarPlay always connects, and at times you really don't want it to. But the good part is it always connects and it works super well. Never ever disconnects when you don't want it to. You just get in the car, your Apple CarPlay connects automatically. Another really cool mod that I like is the gauges. One mod that I hate is this beeping sound. So these are the VLS OLED gauges, and they look super crispy and fantastic at nighttime. When you're driving and you have the little red lights on from the Footwell as well as your gauges going, and you're just in that vibe, it's just unbeatable combination. So I'll probably go into a little bit more detail in these on our drive video. These gauges are super cool. Right now I'm just running the oil pressure as well as the wideband. They just look so good at night, and they sit inside of the cubby pod that I picked up from IAG. If you're thinking about doing this, I highly recommend you get this now, because these cubby pods are getting harder and harder to find. Now I know there's a whole lot of different kind of gauges that you can get, but the main reason I wanted these was because they were OLED and they look really, really good. I think eventually I'm going to do another one which is going to have the oil temperature, because right now just oil pressure and oil temp, I could go a little bit more. I'm just not quite sure of where exactly I would put it, since you can only fit 2 here. But like I said, I'll go into a little bit more detail on the drive video. One thing about them being down here, compared to the ones that you can mount on the pillar or the gauge cluster, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. One advantage means that you're always focused on the road. The disadvantage is it's down here, and sometimes you might not notice something happens. All right, so follow me over to the driver's side. That wasn't smooth. Okay, if you ever want to do a change to the inside of your car, change your steering wheel. I would recommend that to anybody, all day, every day. I went with the Subie Speed Alcantara steering wheel, and it feels so nice. I mean, I remember when I was installing the steering wheel, I kept saying how nice it feels over the stock one. The stock one, the leather, it was cool, but it was way too slippery, and I did not like that at all. So I went with this Alcantara one, and I could have gone with so many other ones, like Alcantara and carbon fiber and leather. But instead, I really wanted Alcantara because I wanted it to be more like the Type RA. The Type RA steering wheel doesn't have this red center line right here, and I don't believe it has all the indentations, and it's a little bit thinner. Also, the Type RA steering wheel is about $600. This one is about $100 less, and I got the center line. It just looks and feels amazing. 100% recommend doing this if you want to do an interior mod. Now right here at the top we have our cob access port, right above our ridiculously perfectly placed cracked windshield. But right below our perfectly angled crack is our access port. If you have a Subaru, then you most likely know about the access port, so we won't even go into detail about that. Now right below our access port we have our Mach V access port vent dock mount. That's a lot to say. What it is that we take out the vent that's right here and we mount our access port so that it's really easy to see and read. The only downside about this is that you can see it from the outside. Like if you're standing in front of the car and you know what it is, well, you know what it is. I like it up here versus having it down here where the gauges are. It's just easy to read, and sometimes when you're driving on the freeway or something, it's easy to look at the access port and see exactly if your car is going to blow up or not. Okay, here's something that I don't really see a lot of people upgrading, which are the pedals. Now these are the SRP pedals in grid black and silver. Now this is a mod that I recently did, and it is super cool to have. Pedals are very grippy, unlike the stock ones, and plus they look amazing. The gas pedal has this little indentation which makes it wider, that way you can reach your brake pedal when you're trying to heel toe, which I'm still trying to learn. Now behind our SRP Racing Pedals is the Verus Engineering Throttle Spacer. What that does is just brings your gas pedal a little bit closer to the brake pedal, so when you're driving, it's a lot easier to reach your pedals when you're trying to heel toe. Still trying to master it, haven't quite got it down, but I am getting better. I should also make a note that the Footwell pedal, well, that's an extra add-on, and you have to buy that separately. All right, you guys, if you've been around this channel for a long time, or for a short while, you'll know that this mod coming up is probably my top 3 favorite mods on this car. And yep, it's the seats. So now these are the Recaro Sportster GT seats in leather and what they call carbon fiber. And you know what? They look so good. They 100% complete the car, and I cannot tell you guys enough how this mod, hands down, my most favorite mod that I have done to this car so far. And yes, I know I might have said that a few times, but you know what? You can't beat these seats. They are so comfortable, they hold you in nicely, and damn, they look so good. And you know what? I can go on and on about how much I love these seats, but well, I think you guys get the point. They are amazing. Now, eventually, I do want to do the carbon backing seats. The only problem is they're $1,400 for the carbon back, but they look so good because the carbon back is a dry carbon, and they look so good. All right, so now with these seats, you get the Recaro sliders. Now the seats and the sliders are bolted in with the Planted Technologies seat brackets. The only downside is you lose your factory heated seats, which I thought was really nice, but I never really used it anyway, so I don't miss it. Now one thing that I would probably do if I could change up anything on this, when I did the seats, I would probably not get these. I would get the absolute cheapest seats, and then I would just have them reupholstered, the middle with Alcantara and the sides with leather. It would be a lot less money, and I could get the red stitching to match the rest of the car. Okay, real quick, a few mods that you don't see. So for the floor mats, we got rubber Motor Trend floor mats for the front seat and for the back seats, even though nobody sits in the back, but they came as a set. The floor mats are mainly for when we go to the beach. That way you stick our sandy, dirty feet or shoes on there and keeps the car clean. Same with the back. We bought the Subaru OEM rubber mat for the trunk. That way we just get through all our wetsuits and all our sandy whatever in the trunk, and it all stays on that rubber mat. When you get home, you just hose it off. And that beats getting out the vacuum cleaner. All right, so my Subaru came with the most janky OEM shift knob on the planet. And I tried fixing it, but you know what? I'm pretty sure I just made it worse. So what we did is we ditched the OEM shift knob, and I went and I picked up a regular Subaru shift knob. It was pretty nice. It looked good while it lasted, but eventually I wanted to upgrade. That's why we got the Stratos Racing shift knob. And you know what? If you were to compare the Racing shift knob to this one, the Racing has a nicer weight to it, nice bigger firm grip, and the Alcantara on the sides just feel way better than this leather. All right, my Subie friends, I feel like this video was probably all over the place, but you know what? It was worth it. So this right here, or maybe on this side, is how much we spent on the interior of this car. Okay, I mean, how cool would it be? How cool would it look if you could have some dry carbon backing seats? I mean, that would just be so badass. And one other thing that I want to do, which nobody will ever see, to the interior of this car, and I talked about it a few times, I want to replace the bolts to the doors, as well as I want to replace the seat bolts with some titanium bolts. Yeah, that would just look so good. Alright, Subie friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for some more STI content, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
The second part of this test involves you. If you have been correctly installed as part of your stereo system, you will now lift the record up, turn it over, and replace it on the turntable with side 2 on the top. You will then proceed to listen to all of side 2. If you do not do this, you have failed the test, and you have the worst hi-fi system in the world, no matter how much money you spent.